Hello and a very warm welcome. In today's video, Lance Stroll is the topic. When is Aston Martin going to pull the trigger? Me, you and everyone in the fan base knows they have to pull the trigger. But Lance Stroll he's surely got a seat for life. Lawrence Stroll, right, he can talk a good game. Aston Martin are going to win, we're going to win, we're going to win. I've signed Adrian Newey. You've got to get rid of the first problem. And that is Lance Stroll. That is your son. Have you got the balls to sack him? Well, at the minute, clearly not. Lance has had a poor season. A very poor season. Aston Martin are comfortably fifth in the Constructors. Lance will not cost them this year. But he will do when they're a bit like Perez is costing Red Bull. The Constructors. That will happen with Lance. Alonso can't score all the points. He needs help. Fernando Alonso currently lies 9th in the drivers. Lance Stroll is 11th on 24, 38 behind his teammate, and even Nico Hulkenberg in a slower car is level on points with him. So yeah, Lance Stroll is not good enough, and he should be a driver that goes along with Guan Yu Zhou. I would get rid of them two first if I had the choice, easily. Magnussen will probably go. He is out. Inti Behrman's coming in. Don't think he'll be coming back to Formula 1. Ricciardo's going. So we are clearing drivers out, but I don't get it. It's obvious. It is obvious. Now, I still say Aston Martin will go with Fernando Alonso and Max for 2026, but I want to see him make a big decision. To get Adrian Newey, I can only applaud. Fair play. But, you got to get rid of the main problem in-house, and that is your son. He's not good enough. He's not going to win races. He's not a champion. And his interviews, honestly. I've got to say it how I see it. He's like a spoiled rich kid. Everything's been spoon-fed to him. And then he goes into, out in Q1 against Lance. That's quite bad, isn't it? Yeah. What are your feelings for the race tomorrow? We try. Are you looking forward to the race? Maybe. It's like trying to get blood out of a stone. No charisma, no personality, just wet wipe, spoon-fed into the motorsport world by Lawrence Stroll, who's actually gone out and pulled Adrian Newey. But Lance Stroll driving an Adrian Newey car is absolutely hilarious. That is going to be so funny because he's just going to get exposed even more. It's not good enough by Lance Stroll. Simple as that. I'm not ranting because we already know this. Every man and his dogs. Lance Stroll is probably the most hated driver of all, of all time is a bit strong, but he's definitely the most hated driver on today's grid. Because he's conning a living. He is conning a living. He's conning a seat and he's conning a living. Are you telling me there's not better drivers that could replace Lance? Yeah, I think so. So let's have a look at his results. He scored 6 points finishes. That's it for the season. 6 points finish. That's not good. That is far from good. I'm actually astounded by that, just reading that. We've had 19 rounds. He scored 6 times. Wow. That is a stat. So, yeah, that's not good enough. He's not scored points since Hungary. I mean, I'm just reeling off these stats. The Aston Martin is not as competitive as last year. Even last year, when they were really good, Lance failed to get a podium. And he was absolutely miles off Fernando Alonso. I'm not expecting him to beat Fernando Alonso, but I'm expecting him to, shine. He has that one brilliant moment, where he got a podium at Baku. Or whether he does an amazing lap at Turkey in the wet. He's quite a good driver in the wet. He's got that one season moment, really, Lance Stroll, where he'll do an amazing qualifying, like at Monza that time. At Turkey. Should have won the race at Turkey. But he'd never been in that position. So, his results. Bahrain, he opens the season with scoring a point. He retires at Saudi Arabia. His best result of the season came at Melbourne. 6th place. Really good result. Then a bit of a low, Suzuka 12th, China 15th, Miami 17th, Imola, he was back in the points, scored 2 points with a 9th, Monaco 14th, his home race at Canada 7th, so that's good for him, obviously being a Canadian, scoring points at home. Yeah, 7th place at Canada. Spain 14th, Austria 13th, then back-to-back points. Silverstone, he scored a 7th, and Hungary, he got 10th, and then that was his last points finish of the season. Belgium 11th, Zandvoort 13th, Monza 19th, Azerbaijan 19th, and Singapore 14th. A big issue for Lance is his he's just not very well liked. Yeah, and he really has been conning a living. I've got to say though, sometimes this season he has outqualified Fernando Alonso, so you got to give him his dues. But like I say, he's a moment driver, isn't he? It's not consistent like his teammate. I mean, you're up against Alonso. Do we expect Lance to get close to Alonso? Absolutely not. But I would expect better by Lance. 6 points finishes in 18 rounds. That's not good enough. He's 38 off Alonso. He's behind Hulkenberg in the drivers. Hulkenberg's driving a much worse car. Yeah. Like I say, when is the cut-off point? When does it end? Lawrence Stroll has one job to do. He's gone out and got Newey, but Lance Stroll driving a Newey car is hilarious. He's still going to be out in Q1 in a Newey car, as Alonso sits it on pole probably by 0.512. You know what I mean? They've got to pull the trigger. If Aston Martin really want that Constructors title, they'll win the drivers, no doubt about it. But if they want that Constructors title, they're not going to win it with Lance Stroll. Simple. This is not a rant. This is just how I see it. Pure facts. Every man and his dog knows Lance Stroll should go. But he's clinging on. He's clinging on. It's literally like he's got a seat for life at the minute. But Lawrence Stroll has to pull the trigger. He has to. And it wouldn't shock me if Lawrence Stroll does pull the trigger, but he gets Lance Stroll the seat elsewhere. You know, with the pound notes. Aston Martin's lineup for 2026 has to be Alonso Max. That would be epic for the viewers. Tsunoda will always be linked with Aston Martin as he's got the Honda links. Yeah, and Yuki really does need to leave Racing Bulls. Yeah, but Stroll cannot stay. Comment down below your thoughts on Lance Stroll. Yeah, probably the most hated driver, maybe of all time. Adios, adios.